the proud that are cursed, which do err from thy commandment. Remove from me reproach and contempt, for I have kept thy testimonies. Princes also did seat and speak against me, but thy servant did meditate in thy statutes. Thy testimonies also are my delight and my counselors. My soul cleaveth unto the dust. Quicken thou me according to thy word. I have declared my ways, and thou heardest me. Teach me thy statutes. Make me to understand the way of thy precepts, so shall I talk of thy wondrous works. Men, my soul melteth for heaviness. Strengthen thou me according to thy word. Remove from me the way of lying, and grant me thy law graciously. I have chosen the way of truth. Thy judgments have I laid before me. I have stuck unto thy testimonies, O Yahuwah. Put me not to shame. I will run the way of thy commandments, and wilt thou enlarge my heart. Teach me, O Yahuwah, the way of thy statutes, and I shall keep it unto the end. Give me understanding, and I shall keep thy law. Yea, I shall observe it with my whole heart. Make me to go in the path of thy commandments, wherein do I delight. Incline my heart unto thy testimonies, and not to covetousness. Turn away mine eyes from beholding vanity, and quicken thou me in thy way. Establish thy word unto thy servant, who is devoted to thy fear. Turn away my reproach which I fear, for my judgments are good. Behold, I have longed after thy precepts. Quicken me in thy righteousness. Let thy mercies come also unto me, O Yahweh, even thy salvation according to thy word. So shall I have therewith to answer him that reproached me, for I trust in thy word. Psalms chapter 119, verses 21 through 42. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits, who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me in my seat, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yes, you're walking with Mr. Clay. I'm Mr. Clay. And we thank God for you also. We thank God also for those of you who have been with us since the beginning, those of you who have been with us here and there's about, and those of you who have just viewed. We thank God for you too. And we thank God for those of you who are thinking about subscribing. Yes. We thank God for you too, and those of you who are just going in cognito trying to see what is he talking about. Okay, yes, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, we're here, and we're still in the book of Chronicles, the Chronicles of David. We're in the first book of Chronicles, and this will be chapter 20. Yes, we notice in all the earth that God is waking up Jacob. Jacob had been sleeping for a long time. Now Jacob is waking up. But the understanding of Jacob is still dark. The understanding of Jacob is still confused. Yes, but the fact is God is still doing this, that he might culminate to that day where he comes with 10,000s of his Christ. Whether you say saints, whether you say Christ, or should you say anointed, it's all the same. Yes. We're in the book of 1 Chronicles chapter 20. We read how David had subdued the children, the son of Hanun, King Hanun, whose father had died, and David sent people to he sent messengers or angels to talk. Now, when I say angels, I mean messengers. That's what it means, messenger. Watch the word play. Messengers. He sent angels to console and send his condolences to the king about his bereavement. But the king and his different factions took it the wrong way in the last chapter. Now we're in Chronicles verse 20. Now it reads, and it came to pass after the year was expired, at the time the kings go out to battle, Joab led forth the power of the army and wasted the country of the children of Ammon, and came and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried at Jerusalem, and Joab smote Rabbah and destroyed it. Yes, just because of that. And David took the crown of their king from off his head and found it to weigh a talent of gold. I mean, this was pure gold just about. It was pure gold. I mean, mix it and all that stuff, they pure gold. And there were precious stones in it. And it was set upon David's head. In other words, he took that crown and he owned the city. And he brought also exceeding much spoil out of the city. And he brought out the people that were in it and cut them with saws and with harrows of iron and with axes. Even so dealt David with all the cities of the children of Ammon, and David and all the people returned to Jerusalem. Why did David do that? Oh, he's so hideous, a man after God's own heart. No, Jesus was not there. Yahweh was not there to tiptoe through the tulips. God is not playing. You are God's creation. This blood is nothing to God. These were pagans. These were people who despised the kindness of God's anointed king. They despised so God was angry. So he put in their heart to do this thing. This is why even Abram prayed a most profound prayer. He knew there were spirits in the earth that can sway us to turn away from God, that can sway us to many things. Not only the spirits of God, but the spirits that have shunned away from God. They can do these things to us. This is why his laws, statutes, and commandments was always, as Psalms chapter 1, blessed is the man. Read that for yourself. Every day, every morning. And then start going, before you even go into the law, read this. To meditate on his law day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers. Yes. Never with the water continually coming in and flowing out. Yes. The water even of the law, commandments, statutes, and ordinances of the Most High. Yes, this is how we should govern ourselves. Because the nations are not going to govern themselves accordingly. They're not going to do this. They have been so bamboozled to the point where many nations have caused themselves to think that the law is passed when the law is really what all the laws of these nations are about. They take away, they add to, and they put their own opinions in them. This is what's happening. But this law that we have, that we say is passed, hangs on, is the way God views things. This God is fair. If you kill somebody in my family, I can go to your family and kill somebody in your family, if it's proven that it's happened, according to the Most High. Now, you also have those that say, well, if you, should I say, essay my daughter, then I can send a seeker of blood after you because you have killed her in her spirit and her pride. She might as well just be dead. You see, virginity was very much prized in the land of Israel. Not only a virgin of the males, but a virgin especially of the females. Because the fact is that there was no other spirits with her. There was no other thing in her. Only thing that she could ever, that could go in her is the seed of her husband. And come out is the human from them both. This is the reason a virgin is so, and then the fact is, she would only have her life toward her husband. Now when her husband is acting a fool, and this has happened many times, then this really puts the woman in disarray. Now, when the woman acts a fool, the man can readily get rid of her. But the fact is, I digress. But David took the crown of the king from off his head. Now in verse 3, David had took all the children of Ammon, and the children returned to Jerusalem. He cut them with saws. In other words, he really deleted some people. And it came to pass after this that there arose a war at Gezer with the Philistines. And now they call it Palestinians. But these are not the Philistines, the ancient Philistines. These are really Syrians. Whatever took over Syrians and migrated from the east above the Euphrates. They migrated their way all the way and warred their way all the way through what we would call Israel or Canaan or the land of Shem. Now, and it came to pass after this that there arose war in Gezer with the Philistines, at which time Sibbechai the Hushathite slew Sippai, that was of the children of the giant, and they were subdued. Giants weren't and all that. When you have God on your side, it doesn't matter. You can if you have the Most High, and you are the Most High say, go subdue the U.S. It doesn't matter how many guns or how many nuclear bombs they have. You do what the Most High say. You're going to find out that God has already prepared the way. He does this. As he said, go, I mean the biggest giant that you can think of. You can do it by yourself. Because God's going to go before you, just like he did with the prophet Elisha. In verse 5, and there was war with the Philistines, and Elhanan, the son of Jair, slew Lami, the brother of Goliath the Gittite, whose staff was like a weaver's beam. A weaver's beam. You know how a weaver would send a thread in one way and he send the thread. This is like big. His beam was like for big flowing tapestries or big flowing cloth or sheets. These are huge weaver's beams or long weaver's beams. Yes, so that it's already the thread is already, alternated, and all you have to do is keep passing one through the other, one through the other, one through the other, and all of a sudden you have, at so many thousands of times, you're going to have that which is huge curtains. So you got to realize these black folks over there in Israel, they had made some nice tapestries. Yes, even those Philistines, if it was the size of a weaver's beam, is something that that's something else. And yet again, now let's come up with some other things other than the weaver's beams. They'll come out with other easier ways to make tapestries or cloths or fabrics, as we say, in their width. You can make short fabrics, long. It depends on how long your weaver's beam and it's really a tedious process to set all the threads and colors and everything, and then you gotta have your thread that you're gonna go crossways, and you have all your threads that you're gonna come the other way with, or should I say horizontal and vertical. Yes, it's really easy, but it's tedious in a way, and you have to be on you can't drop a stitch, or else it would just ruin the whole fabric. Now, it came to pass after this, there was a war in verse 6. And again, he's talking about in verse 6, and yet again there was war at Gath. There was a man of great stature whose fingers and toes were 24, 6 on each hand and 6 on each foot. And he also, in other words, he was not normal. He was the son of the giant. Now, when he defiled Israel, Jonathan, the son of Shimea, David's brother, slew him. Not only David did, but Jonathan's the son of Shimea, not the son of Saul. David's brother slew him. Shimea was David's brother, okay? And Jonathan was the son of Shimea, David's brother, and he slew him. And these were born unto the giant Gath, and they fell by the hand of David and by the hand of his servants. See, David is trying to cause peace here because something is coming up. God is getting ready to show the grandeur of his ingenuity as far as a temple is to be wrought. They did not bow down to the seraphims or before the mercy seat. Now they took hold upon the horns of the altar. Yes, but you have to notice that God did appear above the mercy seat. Each time he appeared, or should I say, his essence, his glory, appeared above the mercy seat, which was in the form of a cloud and fire. Yes, you cannot even touch that fire, whether it be the fire of an angel or just a fire. Only an angel can touch that holy fire. And the innocence of an animal, not a man born of a woman. Joseph had sin. His seed went into Mary. This was still not, he was not sinful. He wasn't born a sinner, but yet he still had to be purified. He still, this Isus, if he was existing, he would have to be for any man, therefore. So there was no man that ever lived, that ever been before, or ever is before God right now. No one. Even according to the book of Enoch, all has a place that they go until the time God has appointed. Yes, they do. So what are you going to do with that? See, the heathen have gotten you into a state of idolatry with this Isis and with these Yahushais and Yahushas. Just because there's a New Testament don't mean that it's true. If you can take everything in the New Testament and you can take it and show where they got it from in the Old Testament and how they manipulate it, except for those things that are just blatant lies. As far as the law is concerned, I can write my own book and take everything out of the Old Testament and tell you, hey, this is a new day. Hey, he prophesied this to me. But God already showed you these things. Many of you do not read the law. You do not read the old account, the old historical account. You mostly you get lazy and you want to just read a paraphrased or watered down version of the law and the historical accounts of the Most High, how he dealt with the children of Jacob, even the children of men. So we have to be on our toes, just as I said before, to cause ourselves to delight ourselves in the law, to want the law, to want what God has. And if we do those things and obey those things, we will have peace.
Walk with me.